George A. Romero is synonymous with zombies. The guy created my second favorite horror film, Night of the Living Dead. I followed it with the awesome Dawn of the Dead and a damn good Day of the Dead. And that's mostly due to the awesomely over-the-top performance of Joseph Pilato as Captain Rhodes.
I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time!
He was also behind childhood favorites of mine like Creepshow and the 80s horror anthology Tales from the Dark Side. That's all you need to know, that this guy is a legend. There are still several Romero films that I still need to see, mostly the stuff between Day and Land of the Dead. The one film I did see was Bruiser, which left me underwhelmed. Throughout the 90s, everyone was wondering when a Romero zombie film was coming. He talked about the screenplay, Dead Reckoning, but couldn't secure the budget. This film eventually became Land of the Dead in 2005, starring the great Dennis Hopper. The film received an above-average response. My opinion, it was a step down from Day of the Dead, but it was still a pretty enjoyable movie. Then there was the god-awful, putrid, maggot-infested, worm-filled dog turd of a follow-up, Diarrhea of the Dead. It's such a piece of garbage that there's nothing, absolutely nothing redeeming about it. Overall grade, a fucking F. Fuck this movie, fuck you Romero for putting your name on it, and fuck me for sitting through the whole damn thing. So obviously there's a steady decline in Romero's beloved Dead franchise. I'm not exactly sure what happened to the guy between Land and Diary. Maybe a level 3 concussion to the frontal lobe? Who knows? But when news came that he was working on yet another follow-up, I couldn't care less. And as a zombie nut, it sort of saddens me to say that. The legacy was tarnished beyond repair for me to invest any anticipation in his future projects. The first production still released showed an old guy about to throw a pipe bomb and some dude in fatigues. For some reason it looked like Romero was making Left 4 Dead. I'm not sure why, because Left 4 Dead there's only one character who's old and in military attire. I guess it was the pipe bomb? The film follows Nicotine, a National Guardsman and his crew. The same guy who made an appearance in Diarrhea of the Dead. It'd be a neat connection to the series if it weren't from a movie that he should distance himself from. You've got the usual cliched characters, the Latin horn dog, the dumb redneck guy, the hard-ass lesbian, and the leader who doesn't take shit from no one. Eventually, they meet up with a smart-ass kid who tells him about a commercial he saw for a zombie-free island on his iPhone. Keep in mind, this is the same outbreak as the original 1968 film. But I don't mind this, since it makes the whole series sort of timeless. The island is inhabited by a bunch of dumb Irish hicks who are divided by two clans. Well, the morons who want to live with disgusting flesh-eating corpses in harmony gain the upper hand and kick out the more logical O'Flynn clan off the island. Although O'Flynn broadcast an invitation, his clan and the National Guardsmen fight it out, ending in the death of most of O'Flynn's crew. Eventually, O'Flynn and Nicotine kiss and make up and head towards the island. Only, they find the island infested with the Walking Dead. Dun dun dun! I can happily say that Survival is an improvement over Diary, but not nearly as good as Land. I was never a fan of quote-unquote learning zombies. It's just not logical. Zombies are dead. Their brains are dead. And only the most primal part of it functions. Therefore, they cannot learn. The plot around Survival is if they can get zombies to eat something other than people, that they'll be able to live around them. Well, they could eat horses, pigs, friggin' cupcakes, but they're still going to eat us. In the grand finale, they try to get a zombie to eat a horse. Mind you that this zombie was riding on this horse for who knows how long. If she wanted to eat the horse, don't you think she would have bitten a chunk out of it while, I don't know, it was riding it? Besides, who wants Granny shuffling around, rotting and stinking up the place? You may ask me, you're arguing about logic in a movie about dead people walking around and eating other people. But that's because zombies are serious fucking business. Another thing, some of the characters are morons. In one scene, a character sees a zombie, who was a relative, looks at them, they say, "She wants to tell me something." And surprise, surprise, the zombie fucking bites her. Her reaction is one of betrayal, as if it was the first time she encountered the Walking Dead months after the epidemic took place. Really? Haven't we outgrown this stupidity in the last 5 entries? Also, there's an incredibly lame twist around the third act. Romero really should start hiring someone else to write his projects. Of all the qualities that took a nosedive between Lane and Diary, the worst was acting. It was so bad in Diary it made it almost unwatchable. Thank God it's been improved in Survival. It's not Shakespeare, but at least it resembles acting and not young actors reading notes off their hands. Oddly enough, Alan Van Sprang as Nicotine is a pretty good lead, and he's the only actor who is in the terribly acted Diary. He must have been the only real actor in the bunch. Devin Bostic is also pretty good as a smart-ass kid. I've seen him in Saw 6 and the trailer for Diarrhea of a Wimpy Kid, but I think he'd make a great choice as Peter Parker in the upcoming Spider-Man reboot. Overall grade D+. This movie is pretty bad, but not nearly as awful as Diary. There's some fun to be had with it, especially since Romero is sticking with his slapstick material. Maybe he should look into making something like Abbott and Costello Meet the Dead. I, for one, would rather him tackle the social and religious things like he did in the past. But the guy seems to be having fun with it, and the more power to him. Although I don't care for his recent efforts, he'll always be a legend in my book.
Don't!
There's no way out.
Will one of you give me some more bullets for this gun?